Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live. We've got plenty to discuss. We're going to be discussing Eddie Nketiah and that magic 14 number, plus his 100k a week. We're going to be talking about giving you transfer updates from Tielemans to Jesus, Martinez to Raphinha. You're in the right place for all the news and opinions. I'm joined by my co-host, Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Good to be back.
And of course, our other co-host, it's Jerome Marks. How you doing, Jerome?
Yeah, good. Good, thanks.
All right. We've also had a couple of one signing since. That was out of the blue, very much out of the blue, but we're going to be discussing him. Jerome had a little look at him to give us his thoughts. We're also, sometime very soon, going to be getting on some Portuguese expert to let us know what his thoughts are on the signing of Fabio Viera to Arsenal. All right, let's go. So first of all, Eddie Nketiah, it's been confirmed this week. It's done, signed, sealed, delivered. He's taken home a magic 100k a week, plus he got the 14 number. Now, obviously, Arsenal wouldn't be Arsenal without some fans' heads absolutely wobbling over this. So we're going to discuss. Steve, start with you. Eddie Nketiah got number 14 this season. Actually. First of all, let me give the quotes with the contract unveiling. Manager Mikel Arteta said that Eddie on Nketiah's new deal. I'm delighted that Eddie is staying with us. He represents what we're all about and all the values of the club. We are very happy to have extended his contract, and now we have to get to work and continue to develop the great talent and person that we have in him. Technical director Eddie Gaspar went on to say the foundations of this squad are built on young talent, and in particular those who have come through the academy system. Eddie was released by another club as a young man, but has always shown he has the attitude as well as the ability to become a top player. The fact that he signed a new contract is an important part of our squad planning for next season, and we are all delighted. Steve, Eddie Nketiah gets his new contract. In fact, it's actually a new signing. It's not really an extension, is it? Because he got released, and then he's then been signed up again. Which, if you're Eddie Nketiah's agent, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to release. And then you've got that bargaining tool of saying to the club, well, if we go to any other club, we'll be able to get top money because he's not got to pay a fee, and we'd get a sign-on bonus. So This is what we want here, and he's managed to get that. So good luck to him. What's your thoughts on the whole the deal signing, the 100k a week, and then we get on to the number 14 separately?
Just good, like what you just said. Good luck to him. I don't know why people need to come out and give a negative vibe on this whatsoever. I think it's absolutely fantastic for the boy. He's been at Arsenal since he was a kid. It's a big number. It's big wages, and now he's got to go out there and prove a point. But going by the end of last season, I think he can do it. I made up for him. I made up for the kid because he's a hard worker. He's from what I'm hearing an absolutely animal on the training pitch. He gives it everything he's got. So when you're giving it, 5 days a week, every single day, to become the best that you can. And look, let's face it, he hasn't had it easy at Arsenal. You've just said there he's been out on loan. We've only seen him in the odd FA Cup game. We've seen him in the odd League Cup game. He's never really got a run. We've been guilty of getting on his back a little bit, saying he's not good enough for Arsenal. But he's proved us wrong. And I think he's proved every Arsenal fan wrong, because I don't think many out there would have expected Eddie to be in this situation at the moment with the number 14 shirt, with the 100k a week, with the 5-year contract. And I think it's fantastic. And I can't wait for the season to start for him to show us what he's got.
Yeah, definitely. Jerome, Eddie signs a new contract. in the end, what's your thoughts on it? After many may have said maybe it's time to probably move on, but after that run that he had at the end of the season, showed Arsenal what he's about. What's your thoughts on the new deal?
Well, before Eddie came into the side at the end of last season, I can't see him getting this sort of deal at that time. I mean, his agent's played an absolute blinder, isn't he? To get that type of contract, to be on that type of money a week, is incredible. But like Steve said, like fair play to him. The way he came into the team at the end of the season, he couldn't have really done much more than what he done. Giving him this contract, at least what it does this way is it does protect the value of the player, whereby if they were to sell Nketiah over the next few years, say, at least they'd get some money for him. Whereas if he was to leave in this summer, they might get like a very small, I think, tribunal fee for him. Look, he showed glimpses, isn't he, last season? He's shown that he can score goals. I think what will help him next season is that the midfield playing behind him, with all those players being a year older and obviously some new additions, I think that will improve the midfield and hopefully he'll get more chances. And I think his numbers in terms of the amount of shots he takes to his goals, they're pretty good. So look, he's probably not going to be first choice, but as a second choice, that will definitely get a lot of minutes with there being 5 subs with the competitions we're going to play in. Although it is a big contract, it's probably saved Arsenal a lot of money as well, because signing a second choice striker that's going to be better than Eddie, that is going to cost a fortune in terms of transfer fee and then the wages as well. So I think it's potentially a very, very good deal for Arsenal. I think he's still in the sort of untested bracket, I would say, Nketiah, in terms of us being absolutely convinced. But hopefully he'll have a decent season and it'll be well worth the contract. But as I said at the beginning, fair play to him. He's done unbelievably well to get that contract.
Mm-hmm. Just on Eddie for a second, as a player, is there anything, Steve, you feel like Eddie needs to potentially add to his game, or maybe hone in more on what you've seen so far?
It's hard to say that he's got to be more consistent, because he hasn't had that many games. But on the games that he has played at the end of the season, it didn't really go. There was a couple of games where it was stop start. So I feel that the consistency of being regular, game after game after game after game, he will have to do that. Whether people feel that he was doing that at the beginning of the season or not, I felt that he could have done a bit more. But either one or the other, he's going to be in a situation now where he's the number 2 striker and he's going to have to be more consistent. He's going to. We know he can score goals. I'm convinced that he can score goals. I'm convinced of his work rate. I've seen him, he works incredibly hard, so his work rate on a football pitch to me is never going to be a problem, even when he's having a bad game. We see him had bad games, towards the end of the season, and the work rate was really there. We always came on here and we always said, yep, he didn't score today, didn't have the greatest of game, but didn't he work hard? You could see him running into the channels. You could see him trying to do things, and that's what you want from a striker. That's what you want from your goal scorer. He's very quick. He's quite good in the air as well. I've seen him score headers, and that when he's up front, he seems very confident. And this is what I mean by I don't think that I think Arteta really didn't have a harder job of accepting. I think Arsenal were quite happy in paying the 100k for him, and because what Jerome's already said there is that where do you get someone like this to be a number 2 striker? And another thing, if for some reason that Eddie doesn't hit it off, what a fantastic contract to get him on, because Eddie ain't going to be a problem. If he's not doing well, he will move on. I think we will get a good price for him. We know we will get a profit because he's an Arsenal boy. So Arsenal can't lose in it. But I don't think there's much there. I don't think there's much more he can do. I just think we need to see the game time now. I think he's got all the attributes. We see him when he was playing him in the England team. Top goal scorer for England. There's not much more. There's not much more. I really don't think there is. I'm just excited to see, what he can add now.
Jerome, what is there anything you think that Eddie could add to his game, or maybe focus on to propel him forward? Maybe even challenge whoever's this is looking hopefully like Gabriel Jesus, but who's going to challenge that number one spot up top?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I don't know if there's any area of his game that I would say work on. I would say just keep doing what he's doing, but better. So yeah, I know Arteta loves like pressing from the front. So maybe really focus on that a lot more and keep doing that, but better. And maybe I know sometimes strikers can drift in and out of games, can't they? So it's hard, but I would maybe say to him to try and sort of stay in the game as much as you can and don't spend like half an hour just not touching the ball. But the good thing with Nketiah is that, or for Arsenal with Nketiah, is that he's not playing in a team whereby he might get one chance a game. I think what's going to happen with him next season, I think he's going to have a lot more chances in games, and like we said, he will score goals in this team. So
yeah.
You can easily see him reaching double figures in the league, even if he obviously doesn't start every game. I think that's got to be maybe a target of him, is to reach double figures in the league. And he's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, people were very critical of maybe the amount of goals that he was scoring, but it's just a case of he didn't get the game time. When he got the opportunities, he took his chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like you said, I think we will have more opportunities scoring up top. And I think when he did play towards the end, his
left us on a
cliffhanger.
Back.
He's back.
Oh, did it go? Oh, what I was saying was his pressing and his work rate up top created more chances for us in the end. So I think you're right with the midfield and with that sort of play. If it is Jesus who we're bringing in touch what it is, then he does that same thing as well. His pressing is higher. So we've got that. It seems like it's a type of striker we want, and I'm all for it. One other thing that came out was obviously he's got the number 14 shirt. There was heads were wobbling completely to the point where our uncle Ian Wright has come out to the defence of Eddie Nketiah. He said, "What's a number? Why don't you say nothing if there's nothing positive to say about our players? You could never call yourself an Arsenal fan with a negativity of this nature. Would you say it to Eddie's face? No. Well, shut the F up," he said. Ian Wright was not happy. And I can understand why. Look, you may have your reservations about specific players getting shirt numbers. However, you've got to do it in a way. You've got to do it, even if you want to voice your issues, like you have to do it in a way which is not disparaging to the player, which is not absolutely coating off one of our own players, our youth players who's come through the ranks. He's living the dream right now, playing for a team that he supports, and he's asking for the number. Like, come on. Jesus, people. Like, it's like you never had a childhood. Like, wake up. Steve, what's your thoughts on the whole number 14 situation, first of all?
I didn't. I just thought it was great. I just thought that he was great. As you just said there, he's an Arsenal fan. And although we say in there that, there's nothing in the number, I'm sure deep down that number means a hell of a lot to him. that number 14 shirt, wearing that on his back. Because even of an age of me now, if I was to run out of my age with number 14 on my back, I dare say I'd have my shoulders, a little bit higher. But good luck to him. All right, Aubameyang's worn it, Omri's worn it, Theo Walcott's worn it. And, you're going to get Arsenal players who thinks now that he's got to, replicate what those players did, score the goals that they did. And that's not true. It's what you said. It's an Arsenal fan. It's his dream. And, wow, he's probably got the shirt of the greatest player of all time. Mm-hmm. I mean, there could have been another little bit of a spin on it. It might be Gabriel Jesus saying, I want the number 9. Mm-hmm. So you've got to have the number 14. But it's great, isn't it? I mean, it's like you said, it's a dream. He's an Arsenal boy. Is it going to weigh on his back? I don't think he's a player with that type of attitude.
No, not to worry.
I think he's someone who's like, I've got number 14 on me back. Yeah. I don't think that I'm going to replicate what Omri's with. I think what the number 14 probably means to him is what you've already said, is the fact that I'm an Arsenal fan, and wow, I'm and if anything, it will go out there and make him perform even better, knowing he's got that shirt on his back. I don't think it'll weigh heavy. I've seen Arsenal fans saying, he'll put that on and he'll fall apart and he'll fall to pieces. What a load of
Get out of it. This boy's from South East London. We don't fall to pieces. Huh? We're from the Wild West. We're made from different stuff.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie, and he won't mind sitting with a number 14 on his back. Yeah, 100k a week makes you sit on the bench a little bit more than probably what you would. They would probably.
Do you know what? This ain't bad,
This ain't bad, this shirt.
It's this extra cushioning. I don't get what this is like. Do you know what?
Second striker. No problem in that. Hey, whenever I want, just bring me on when you can. I'm sweet here. Get me one with a red leather seat. That's a nice one. I'll sit this one here. But no, I mean, it couldn't be nothing else but wow, great, dream, 14, Arsenal fan. Brilliant.
All right. I have to say that since I've seen Eddie in this starting lineup towards the end of the season, I've seen a different Eddie. You see in interviews, he carries himself with so much more confidence now, I feel. It's a bit like when I was seeing Saka as he's growing older. I think Eddie has grown in a lot of confidence from having that run and having the belief in the manager. So yeah, I think we could possibly see hopefully, touch wood, I feel like we're going to see a whole new Eddie next season. Jerome, the number 14. What does the number mean to you?
Well, I think the people that haven't been having a go, they just want to be negative, and they're just haters, really, aren't they? What with the number 14 shirt, for me, I guess maybe when you get a bit older, maybe they're a bit less significant. But what it could have been used as, obviously they were negotiating the contract, and maybe from Arsenal's point of view, offering Eddie the number 14 shirt could have been quite a good negotiating tool to say, look, this was Henri's number, and it can be yours. And from the player's point of view, that might be really attractive. But from a fan side, we don't really read too much into it, I don't think. When you're watching a game on TV or at the stadium, are you really bothered about what the shirt number is? I mean, Gabriel's number 6, isn't he? And that is obviously notoriously Tony Adams' number, but that's probably never, ever been brought up. Maybe because obviously Eddie isn't, at Henri's level, it's maybe been mentioned, but really, it's, I think it's something that's been maybe blown out of proportion a bit, and it's not. I think for most of us fans, it's probably not much of a big deal. And like Steve said, maybe that will sort of help him, perhaps maybe try and live up to that psychological number, perhaps. But I don't think it will have any effect at all. And happy for him. I mean, look, with numbers, there's only a limited amount of numbers anyway, so you're always going to get people that will get numbers that are associated with big players, and just that's going to happen the longer the years go on. It's always going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think I'm with you both. Numbers, maybe when you're younger, it might mean something to you. It probably, for me, it means something more to the players. Shouldn't mean too much to the fans about who has that number specifically. Look, because if I heard someone talk about we should have retired the number 14 shirt. But if we're going to retire shirts, yeah, Ian Wright's number 8 should have been retired, which meant Freddie Ljungberg would have never got it, and Freddie Ljungberg was not of the stature of Ian Wright when he took the number 8 shirt either. Let's not forget that. Like, so you can't be dwelling on these things. You can't. But then Freddie Ljungberg ended up being an Arsenal legend. So well worthy of if you're talking about wearing the number 8 shirt. So you can't just talk about retiring shirts because Adam's shirt would have been retired. Everyone in the Invincibles, we'd be running on number 49, 50. Like, it would have been like if we'd have asked this question, do we retire the shirts after they won the Invincibles? I'd have been like, retire it, drinking, retire it. I never want to see anyone wear them numbers again. So it's nonsense. And what I don't like, it's only a small minority, and we've narrowed it down to it's the socials. It's nothing. It's not the fans in the stadium. It's the socials, the keyboard warriors generally in Twitter. They're the most vicious ones. They just let them blow off steam. They soon run out of gas very quickly because they've not got much substance to what they're saying. So it runs out very quickly. There we go. Colette, so good to see you again. He says, Nketiah taking the number 14 jersey is very ballsy and I like it. And like I said, I think it's more for the player than the fans it should be. If the player wants that number, look, Emil Smith-Rowe took a number 10. Is he Dennis Bergkamp? No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. So we should be talking about these numbers.
But it's his hero, isn't it? It's his hero.
Exactly.
So...
Exactly.
If it's going to make him feel better and get more confidence, then it's a good thing.
100%. 100%. I fully agree. All right. Next up, Arsenal complete the signing of Fabio Viera. Arsenal completed the signing of Portuguese youngster Fabio Viera, who's actually only had one full season, I think, at Porto. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's he saying? What's your thoughts on him?
God, well, he came completely out of nowhere, didn't he? This signing, and it's weird. It's not weird, but no one had really even heard of him. And on a couple of counts, that's strange because firstly, he was the under 21 player of the tournament recently at the Euros, which is quite a big deal. And obviously, his surname as well is one that's quite well known to us. So the fact that it was sort of properly out of the blue and no one had even heard of him really was mad. But so I'm sure people have seen the clips of him since the news came out about him. Attacking midfielder, can basically play pretty much anywhere in the midfield, I would say. Maybe not holding midfield, but can play as one of the central midfielders or probably play on either wing, but is certainly most effective in the middle. A very, very creative player. Very productive, and since he came into the Porto team, his sort of assists and goals, I think he was getting either in a goal or assist pretty much most games really. So there's been a lot of talk that obviously Odegaard is the technical leader basically of our team. I think this guy is going to give Odegaard a run for his money in that aspect, in terms of natural footballing ability, smooth, silky on the ball. Can pick out a pass in terms of in the final third. Obviously, he is very slight. I think what goes against him maybe is the sort of strength and physical aspect. I think he's got a quick burst to get away from a player. Whether he could like outrun a player over 50, 30, 40 meters, I'm not sure. But that's obviously not really his game. But I think what he's going to give Arsenal fans next season, when he plays, I think he's going to give Arsenal fans a lot of these wow moments where you're like, your bum's off your seat and you got like your mouth wide open, thinking, "Wow, that's an amazing bit of skill." I think that's what he's going to bring certainly. and it's a very, very exciting player. And I think quotes have come out from Porto saying they can't believe that Arsenal have got him for such a cheap transfer fee.
They're in a bit of financial trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, I think a lot of these Portuguese clubs, they always end up selling, like, they always have to sell their best players, really, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Similar, he's been sort of compared to players like Bernardo Silva, like Phil Foden, those type of really technical players, and that's why I think that there will be these similarities to Odegaard in terms of how technical he is.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he plays a lot. So I think he's going to bring a lot of happiness and really good moments to the Arsenal fans next season.
All right, absolutely sold there on that one, Jerome. Steve, question on Fabio. Do you think Jerome mentioned that he could be a bit slight? Do you think the Premier League is more suited to players like that now, with the likes of Bernardo Silva, Foden, Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes? Whereas beforehand, you would have taken one look at these players and gone, nah, not for the Premier League.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. I think that our league now is totally changed. It's you need a lot more ability on the ball. If you're going to sort of be a centre mid type player, then you even need to have some kind of ability with the ball. You need to have good vision. But this guy won't. For me, he ain't going to cause any problems for Arsenal. Jerome said mostly everything there. Very, very similar to Martin Odegaard. I thought straight away. Nowhere near a centre midfield. I didn't think he was a centre midfield player. Yeah. I think he's more of a right-sided player, hence number 10 type player, getting forward on the left-hand side, probably. And it tends to me, it's like, again, you've both sort of said it already, but it's just first thing that comes to me is that Arteta's morphing Arsenal into Man City. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of all the players that we're linked with, and I'm thinking, now Viera's come in, and I'm thinking to myself, Arteta's going with one centre mid next season. I genuinely think that's the way he's gone, because that's how City play. They play with the one centre mid. We've always played with the Xhaka Partey. I don't think that's the way. I think Xhaka and Partey.
Partey's going to have to play that Rodri role.
Yeah, I think Xhaka and Partey are going to be fighting against each other for a space next season, and whoever's on it at the time will play, and the other one will sit on the bench, especially with the other names that are being mentioned. But if you already said the Mahrezes, the Bernardo Silvas, the Ilkay Gündogans, the Fodens, the Grealishes, they're all slight, they're all small, they're all quick, and this is what this guy is, and he looks like class. His vision. Okay, look, we've got to see it in the Premiership. That's the only thing. We've got to see what his ability is in the Premiership at the top level leagues. As far as his build and whether we had a handle it, I haven't got a problem with that. It would just be his mentality. But looking at him on the football pitch, very, very, very exciting. And it would be interesting to see where he's going to play. I've got my ideas of where I think he's going to play, and I think I know what Arteta's doing, and it's quite exciting. But I think there's going to be a couple of players who played last season that ain't going to be very happy. But or maybe they will be. We need to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's all about Arsenal winning. It's all about Arsenal progressing, and if they see that, then they've got to be on board.
Just one more thing that I noticed about him as well is, although obviously everyone has a position, he wanders a hell of a lot. So with like Bernardo Silva, if you watch him during a game and you didn't know the formation before the game and where they put him on the screen, you wouldn't know what position he's playing. He wanders all over the place, and I think this is what Fabio Viera does as well. So even if he's down as a wide right winger, he won't play there. He'll go all over the place. So I think that's
very
what we'll
fluid
notice with him. Yeah, I think that's what we might notice with him as well next season.
Do you know what this signing? What it tells me and I've thought about it before I come on tonight whether to say it or not. I don't think Arteta thinks Smith Rowe and Martinelli are good enough.
What, right now?
Yeah, right now, right at this moment in time. I don't think he feels that he can get where he wants to get with them players at the moment.
I get that,
and I think you'll find that you will see them on the bench a lot next season, because these players just seem to have that little bit more extra. Hopefully, they will kick them on to another level. You know,
and I think that's part of it, isn't it? You want players that you're going to bring in to elevate the players that you've already got there as well.
But we seem to be linked with men, if you like. We've always said we need men in this Arsenal side. We've got too many kids, and we feel that a lot of players still ain't developed. And I think like Smith Rowe and especially Martinelli as well, as good as what they are, and we all know what they can do. I still don't think they're there yet.
No, there's definitely gone.
Yeah, and I was going to say, but I think he's trying to get players in who are there now. So it just tells me something that what he thinks.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely shortcomings in Martinelli's and Smith Rowe's game, and I think that Smith Rowe's is probably more on the athleticism side, and Martinelli's is more on the composure side. Funnily enough, if they could just give a little bit of each other's skill, they'd be the perfect player. And I think that will come with time. I think more so Martinelli with regards to. I feel like Martinelli probably knows his position more than Smith Rowe knows his position as well. Smith Rowe could get moved to a 10, could be on the left side. His best position probably seen him is probably on that left side, but then you're competing with someone who's more of an athlete, which I feel like Mikel Arteta wants to play with when he's playing with the wingers. But yeah, no, I think this, from what I've seen of this Fabio Viera, and I've got a friend in Portugal I speak to, and I've asked him about him. He said he's not a massive fan of Fabio Viera, and he's surprised Arsenal got him. However, he does appreciate that he's a big talent and very, very highly regarded in Portugal. And I was watching a bit of some highlights of when he played against Liverpool. Looks very, very sharp in that game. It's a good gauge to see how he plays against English players, he seemed to do all right. Then he only comes as a sub, but yeah, there's some really nice play in that bit of footage. So, welcome Fabio Viera. Good luck, and we are dying to see what you can do with the football. All right. Let's get on to the transfers. All right. Okay. First of all, I was going to start with someone else, but off the back of Fabio Viera, Steve, I'm going to ask you as a question rather than the transfer side of things. With Fabio Viera bought in, do you still feel that Arsenal need to bring in a central midfielder?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Would that be in the mould of someone like a Yuri Tielemans?
Yes.
Right.
Because we still need that central midfielder who can do the defensive side of the game as well. And we know from last season that when Xhaka was out or when Partey was out, Elneny and the Congo just isn't going to do it. It ain't good enough. Yes, we bought Vieira, but he's not a defensive midfield player. He's not. No. He's more of a number 10 for me. Left can play on the left and the wing. He can play on the right and the wing. But to me, he's more of an Odegaard type of player. So to answer your questions, yes, we definitely need another midfield player, someone more defensive, and someone definitely on the lines of Yuri Tielemans, and that's why we're still in for him.
All right. So, any more on that? Just want to let's give everyone a refresher from where we're at now to just again to reiterate that this is still very much a transfer that Arsenal want. Yeah.
Well, there was rumours that the deal had called. You know, I don't know where this rumour come from. For me, it just came from the tabloids with people surmising and getting thinking that Viera was coming in, and that meant that Tielemans wasn't coming
Yeah.
in, which tells you their knowledge of a footballer, because they're two completely different footballers who play in completely different areas of the pitch, who do completely different jobs. But Arsenal still want to bring in Yuri Tielemans in this window. He's not going to sign a new contract with Leicester. It is not happening. He wants to leave Leicester City. Look, there are other clubs that are interested in him, but Arsenal are way ahead of the pack. The others are just, they're just basically inquiring. And Arsenal had already had talks and already put in a bid for 25 million, and talks are ongoing. The second bid, that's what I've been told has gone in for another for 30 million now. These talks have been going on for a month now. Don't believe people when they hear they say there's been no talk of second fees yet. I mean, you don't talk for a month, without don't go a 2-week break with continuous talks and then not talk about the second bid. I'm sorry, I don't care what type of transfer expert you are. It just does not. It's not the way it works, and I've been told by the best that that's not the way it works. But before I come on here tonight, I was told that Newcastle could be coming in with a bid before the end of the window. So one thing that Arsenal do have to do, they have to get start moving a bit sharpish, because we don't want the same situation with the Bruno Gomes thing. But Arsenal are way ahead, way at the top. Yuri Tielemans is happy, but don't believe that it hasn't called, and Arsenal still are on that trait of wanting to bring him in the window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for that update, Steve. Jerome, would you be bringing in another central midfielder as opposed to Fabio Viera?
Yeah, absolutely. We need someone centrally, and not to get too much into it, but I know that he seems as though Arteta wants to play like with maybe one central midfielder like a Partey. If Partey's not there, I think you need to play with two of them. But yeah, we definitely need another central midfielder. So I'll be all in for Tielemans as that player. So yeah, hopefully it happens.
All right. So as we said, personal terms of the player, not an issue at all. First bid's gone in. Arsenal still talking with Leicester on this deal. Arsenal very much do want the player still. Second bid is gone in, or is due to go in, Steve's saying. £30 million. So you'll probably hear that within the next couple of days. And hopefully Arsenal can get this one over the line, because I think if Arsenal can bring in, I think the excitement, if Arsenal could bring in a Tielemans and a Jesus on top of the Vieira, I think there'd be a lot of excited Arsenal fans ready for next season, chomping at the bit for that first game. And do not forget Newcastle have inquired about the services of Tielemans. So if Arsenal don't get a move on, as we always say, until the contract is signed, whether it's done deals, personal terms agreed, player only wants to go to one place, until they sign that contract, it doesn't matter. Any club can still come in and take the player. All right, just remember that. All right, and next transfer update, Raphinha. So Arsenal still in talks with Leeds. As we said, as we posted last week, that Raphinha, Arsenal and Leeds and Raphinha will be stepping up the chase for the Brazilian winger next week, and that's this week. And as we saw yesterday, the news came out that Arsenal were set to ramp up the talks with Leeds and Deco. So correct there. But news did come out a little bit earlier on that apparently Barca have asked Raphinha to wait for him. Steve, can you give us an update? Because I know we've got some decent contacts in Barcelona as well.
Barcelona want him to wait because The only thing I can think what that is, it's a little bit worrying, I suppose, for Arsenal because of the possibly the Frankie de Jong deal. Maybe they want to get that over the line. Maybe they want to make the bid to Leeds. Then the only thing that's going in Arsenal's favour. Hopefully, he won't wait. And from what I'm hearing, Arsenal have got the money there now, to make the bid. And we have Hedu, Brazilian. That sort of goes for us a little bit as well. We have a team with plenty of Brazilians in it, with Gabriel Martinelli. Hopefully, Gabriel Jesus as well. We've got Portuguese player now. Making it feel like home. So hopefully that'll be something as well. But sources told us back in February that Arsenal were in contact with Raphinha. The latest we have, Deco yesterday, he's already came to London to meet with Arsenal representatives to tell them that Raphinha would be happy to sign for Arsenal after earlier in the week agreeing to personal terms. This deal has escalated due to Barcelona telling Leeds that there is no way that they can pay the 60 million asking price wanted by Leeds. This recent news about asking him to wait, we have to look into that. We have to look into that a little bit more. And like you said, we've got some very good Barcelona contacts, so it shouldn't be too hard for us to find out why that is. At the same time, it probably doesn't take a lot of working out why they're asking him to wait. Yeah. And it could be good news for Manchester United fans, I suppose.
Yeah, true.
Asking him to wait. But Arsenal in talks. Arsenal got the money. Raphinha is very, very happy. Deco's happy. He's came to London. We've had that confirmed by the biggest of their sources. So it's another one exciting for Arsenal. It's hopefully we can get this one over the line as well because he's another very exciting player. Yeah,
Jerome, I know you're one that's mind's been turned from Raphinha when you first spoke about him when he was at Nice coming to Leeds to what you've seen since. Good competition for Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, excellent. Would be an excellent addition to the squad, and you'd be happy to see Raphinha play against any team in the league, wouldn't you? I think that's maybe the difference with some of these squad players is that if they play against the elite teams in the league, you think they're playing a bit of they're maybe a bit out of their depth perhaps. Whereas with Raphinha, you'd be happy to go to Man City away and have Raphinha on the wing. That wouldn't be an issue. So yeah, more than happy. Yeah, I think it'd be a brilliant signing.
Yeah, it would be.
So can I ask? Raphinha plays on the right, doesn't he, for Leeds?
Yeah.
Well, what do you feel about? Because Raphinha don't come across to me from what I've been in and what I've been told. He ain't coming out to sit on the bench and fight for a competition. He's coming to play. And with Raphinha knowing his personality, and from what I'm told, his personality is from other people that I talk to, he's going to want to start. And I can't see him competing with Saka. It just doesn't. Great if he can. Great if he's happy with that. But I can't believe that he played Saka on the left. I can't, because we all know that Saka ain't great on the left. But is he going to do that?
Yeah.
Because it's. I can't see him sitting. I just can't see Raphinha sitting on the bench. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I mean, again, it's that it comes from the same fault of if you're in a team that's winning, if you're in a team that's successful, and you're getting that rotation. I mean, look at Man City. We ain't Man City. We ain't going to be on Man City's level for a long, long while, but they have managed to rotate their players enough so that they're still all happy. They're still getting plenty of game time, and they're still winning things, and they're all happy just to be a part of it. I mean, I don't think Saka's going to be on the or Raphinha would be on the same sort of game time as like a Jack Grealish when he went to Man City. However, if you look at Phil Foden at Man City, he gets rotated quite a lot, but he's still in Team of the Year, Young Player of the Year, still regarded as one of the best players in the Premier League because Man City play like 50 games a season. Now, we don't want Saka to play 50 games a season. We don't want him to. We've been saying for ages, we need competition. He needs a rest. He's going to burn out. So I think one, having a player that's on his level and a different kind of player will propel him forward. And it's the kind of player he is. It seems like he's got that hunger to challenge. And I think he should have more competition in the team.
Do you think that? I mean, I'll ask you. Do you think like they can rotate during the game?
Yeah, I think Raphinha.
Because City do that. Grealish and they swap and they go.
Look, let's face it, Saka can play anywhere, can't he? And I think there has been a lot of games where Raphinha has sort of started from the left. If you total up the minutes that were available to play each season, they're both going to get plenty of minutes. And the big fear for Saka is getting burnt out. And I think if you bring Raphinha in, you basically rule out pretty much the chances of burning Saka out. If he's getting kicked all over the park, he's playing 2 or 3 games a week, like that's not going to happen now. I think it, not even from a competition point of view, just from a rest point of view, and being able to have that flexibility. And as I've mentioned loads of times with these 5 subs, they'll share games, share minutes. You won't be in the, they call it the red zone, where he's like on the verge perhaps of picking up a muscular injury because he's played so much. Europa League, there's enough minutes to go around, especially for these forward players that are putting so much, that run so much during a game, and it's all sprints, isn't it? All these quick sprints. So there's and that's how I think you sell it to the players, is that you're going to all play plenty of minutes, you're going to get rested, we're going to look after you, and I don't think there's a worry of being like a first choice or a second choice. They'll both play enough minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think competition for me is needed. We need strength in depth, and if Saka is potentially in the future, hopefully, touch wood, he doesn't. He stays with Arsenal forever. But if he's going to go to a big club, Man City or Liverpool, there's going to be. You've seen what Liverpool have got: Jota, Diaz, and that's not even including when Mane was there, Salah and Firmino. And then you had people like Minamino and Curtis Jones, who don't even really get minutes at all. And then
Arsenal
you look
fan, sorry. I would say Arsenal fans are probably, lynched me for saying this, but as you say, in a couple of years' time, we could be in like a Coutinho situation where you could sell Saka for 150 million, bring in 2 wealthy superstars to add to the Raphinhas, the Gabriel Jesuses, the Tillemanses, the Vieras.
Exactly. Look, we don't want to sell him. Exactly. But if someone puts in £150 million bid for Bukayo Saka, do you know what I mean? I'm gift wrapping that, because we've got to think longer term here.
Liverpool.
He's a great player, but you're talking about 150 million for free because he's come through the ranks. It's free money. And you've got to. And I'm not selling him already, but I'm saying if a silly bid like that comes in, they're the ones you've got to take. They're the ones that will put you in the place where Liverpool are. Go on.
And with the transfer fee for Raphinha, say you spend 50 odd million on him, or 55, even if it's 60, the 3 other players on your wings, Martinelli, Smith Rowe and Saka, you've basically got all of them for free. I think it's maybe 7 million quid in total, because it was the Martinelli one. So you've basically got 3 wingers for nothing. And so you're spending the money on one player, and if you divide it up by the 4, then it's like, whether it's 12 million quid or something each, like, it's worth it.
Yeah, and even if you was to get a Raphinha, and Raphinha was the one you sold later down the line because he's doing well, you're talking about getting. Look at the transfer market these days. If you bought him for 50, you're selling for 100 or 80 minimum. So you're making profit on that anyway. So I think yeah, it's a win-win for me. Yeah, I think Raphinha's got a higher bar as well. I think he's got a lot more to give. I do think he's got more to give. Next up, Lisandro Martinez of Ajax. Latest reports came out yesterday that Manchester United put in a bid, but he's not, and that was rejected. But he's not high on their priority, which leaves a little bit more room for Arsenal to make ways in this transfer. But how much are how likely are Ajax to sell, Steve? What's the latest on this transfer?
Very likely to sell.
Okay.
Very, very likely to sell. Because it looks like Jerry Timber's staying.
Yeah.
And it was going to be one or the other. So, but just like Porto, Ajax do need to sell. They're a club that just need to sell every season. And they always had plans on selling one of their backs. And at the moment now, it looks like Martinez. You're right what you say about Manchester United. They are very interested in him, but he's not priority because at the moment they've still got Varane, they've still got Lindelof, they've still got Harry Maguire there, and they're not going nowhere soon. So bringing another one in. Even though he can play on the left back side as well, but Telles and Shaw are still there. So Ten Hag will be looking at trying to get something out of them. So you are looking at the centre back position with him. But as far as because forget Manchester United, look, you know, as far as I've been talking to a very, very a big contact on this over the last week, and what I'm told is that he's very, very keen on joining Arsenal. Personal terms have been spoken about. The player is happy with them. A bid has gone in for 30 million, which was rejected, which we put up on the page earlier in the week. Mm-hmm. But now another bid has gone in for 35 million euro. Mm-hmm. And it's funny with this one because I was talking to the person who was telling me this. Arsenal apparently do their business the other way round. They talk to the club and then they talk to the player.
Which is meant to be the actual proper way. Which is meant to be the proper way.
And the exact words, it's funny because the exact words, what I was just about to say was that what the guy told me was that is actually the way it's meant to be.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But it's very old school. So that's something, you know, to remember. So if you hear that personal terms have been agreed, and it's Arsenal, already know that we've spoken.
Yeah, already know it's spoken to the club. Yes, good point.
And that's came from the top guy, who would know. So Arsenal pushed in hard, and sources are telling me that a deal is close. One person, a source said to me that, you know, it was his exact words to me that he's Arsenal bound. But 24 years old, centre back, can play left back, and he can also play in that defensive midfield as well.
That's what I like. I was getting a bit excited about this one because of that. That he can play in multiple positions. And he's called the Butcher, isn't he? The Butcher of Argentina.
I didn't know that, but I love it.
Yes, I did. When I heard that, I was like, nah, he's not called the Butcher of Argentina, is he? Get out. Get out.
Yeah, and again, it's like the first thing I thought of was when I see Arteta was after this. First thing I thought was Nicolas Otamendi.
Oh,
because he was a big, massive fan. Played in that exact same position on the left. He could play as a left back. He could play as a centre back, and he was a mean guy in the back there. And I just thought, you're just morphing us, aren't you, up Miguel? You know, into this. You know, you could see what he's trying to do.
I'll take Man City 2.0. I don't care. I'll take that all day long. Yeah. All day long.
His thinking's very good, isn't it? The way he's what he's doing now. You see it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was watching something with Kylian Balagay, and he said, "You lot don't know. You don't know what this guy's capable of with regards to Arteta. The thinking that he puts behind the football, every last bit, every minute detail of the club, the structure, the way the changing rooms are, the paint on the walls, everything has a meaning. This guy is meticulous, and he's gonna change Arsenal for the better. He's gonna take Arsenal back to the top. And I was just like, wow, like absolutely glowing reference from Guillem Balaguer. He was because he was adamant because he was said, "You have no clue," and he said, "Like you don't have a clue what this guy is capable of. No one does. He is unbelievable." And I was like, "All right, cool, son." Because he's only learning. It's like, yes. Jerome, surprised that Arsenal got in for another defender, or you all for it, especially with his utility?
Yeah, no, all for it. All for good players. I don't know if that means that a centre back might go. I doubt it. I guess I think the fact that he can play left back as well is massively important. Because I think when Tierney doesn't play, you don't really get the defensive solidity when Tavares plays him. So I think that would be a big plus. As you said, he's like a super aggressive player, isn't he? You don't get called the butcher of wherever he's from if you're not aggressive. So we could do with a bit of that. That doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
So
definitely. I don't mind that. I don't mind a bit of aggression. We've already got Gabriel, and once he honed it in towards the end of last season, there was games where he got a yellow card early doors and didn't see a second bookable offence for the rest of the game. So I feel like he's maturing quite a lot, and we love the way that Gabriel plays with his aggression and battle hardiness. Joe, we'll have to get you to look at Lisandro Martinez for next week's show and let everyone know what your thoughts are.
I think he's brought in more as a backup defensive midfield player or the left back possibly. You know, because Tierney's out so much. I mean, he probably wants someone to sort of give him competition, or if not, take over from him.
And a DM, not a centre midfielder that can play DM or a defensive sided midfielder. If he goes in at DM, he's going in to bosh, to win the ball back and pass it off. Nothing fancy, not looking to go forward. And certain games you need that. Especially if you wanted to shut out games as well.
He's not really tall enough for a centre back.
For a centre back, yeah. That's what I thought. He's 175. You're talking about 5'10", something like 5'11" at a push. So not for me to be as a starting centre back, but I'm sure he'd come in as a backup in that centre back position, especially when you look at the likes of people like what's his name, Mascherano, who played at Barcelona for however long as a centre back, and he's probably one of the most shortest players in Europe. It was crazy. I always used to think, just put it on his head. Put it on his head. It didn't work.
I think Edu's doing the business, though, isn't he? You know, he's really...
No, he is, and I hope by the end of this, people give him some credit because.
Mate, I mean, look, let's face it, they are all Portuguese, speak Brazilian, and South.
Oh, we'll take that. Look at Wolves. Look at Wolves.
Amazing.
They just got a load of Portuguese players, and they're doing all right. So if we can. We're Arsenal. We're getting the Brazilians and the Portuguese, and we'll take over there.
We'll take them. Yeah.
Briefly, did you say there's a little bit of news on Nicolas Pepe? Potentially someone after him.
Well, Nicolas Pepe, Newcastle are meant to be. I don't have a lot because it was just before we came on tonight, but I've been told that Newcastle are looking at Nicolas Pepe. Their talks aren't going very well with Watford for Sarr, and also the price that they Leverkusen want for Diaby. Mr. Diaby is ridiculous. It's like 60-odd million. So a possible loan deal for Nicolas Pepe is on the cards. So that's one we need to find out a little bit more on.
Yeah,
and one to keep an eye on because it makes sense as well. And the only other thing was just Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
Just at the moment, just to tell people where we are on it. Arsenal are at the moment tying up final details with Manchester City. Talks are still going. Regards to the fee, City want 50 million at the minimum. They're not going to budge on that. They're not going to come down on that. Arsenal felt that 30 million was a fair price going into the last year of his contract. Now Arsenal are close to City's asking fee. And I'm told by Friday we should be hearing that Manchester City have accepted Arsenal's offer and a deal will be agreed. So keep an eye on Friday. Sorry? Yep.
Yeah, go on, carry on. Sorry.
No, just City are looking for around 95 million for sales of Jesus and Sterling. And Gabriel Jesus, as we said earlier, would wear the number 9 shirt.
Is this more payment structure or is this of the fee itself?
They want it out. They want it straight out. Well, I've been told they want the whole, fee straight out. Apparently,
balance the books, don't
they don't deal in like
that's because they've got the world's supply of cash in their wallet. They don't deal with loans and structures. They just go, there you go, 150 million. Like no one else could do that.
Yeah, but no, they want it straight. Arsenal ain't far away now. They're not far away. But it's one you just want to hurry up and just get done. So it's but from what I'm told, it's very close now. Very close.
All right. Thank you everyone that's joined us tonight. Thank you everyone in the comment section. Absolutely buzzing tonight. Appreciate your efforts. Press that like and subscribe button. If you are new, press the subscribe button. Boys and girls, I said it before, press that share button and press the copy. You don't have to share it to your page, just press the copy. And that is a way of pushing the algorithm up as well. It all helps. Show your support. Appreciate it. If you're on Facebook, come over to KS1 TV and join the chat like Paul did. Appreciate that, Paul. If you are on Facebook, press that like and come over to KS1 TV and press that subscribe. And make sure you're following the Arsenal Show on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
No. And thank you very much for joining us tonight, Jerome.
Yeah, of course. Pleasure. Cheers.
All right. As I always say, Steve's done. Steve's like over and out, laters, toodle pip, I'm done. As I always say, make sure you press that like and subscribe, people. Oh, he's back.
Back for the encore.
He wants the outro. He wants the outro. Press that like and subscribe, and peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.